Fortunately, I was able to get the train on the other end where I live, and I was heading towards the hospital. As I got there, I just collapsed. And guess
Wow.
what? She still sacked me. I felt it's quite lonely. I felt we need more representation of Black people in leadership. How many more people in our community will be going through this, and there's just no one to talk to, no one to speak to, and that's what birth.
Hello, and welcome to the O5BM Community Impactors Podcast, the platform where Black excellence takes center stage. Join us for inspiring conversations with extraordinary Black leaders, innovators, and changemakers who are driving progress and giving back to our community. Together, let's explore stories that uplift, empower, and spark action. This is brought to you by the Over 50s Black Men Forum, O5BM. O5BM was founded in 2018 as a non-profit community organization which is dedicated to supporting Black men aged 50 and over in the UK. It addresses challenges such as isolation, loneliness, health concerns, job security, anxieties of aging. The forum provides a platform for members to connect, share their experiences, and support one another through activities like health education, physical activities, and peer to peer mentoring. The Community Impactors broadcast series, which we are on now, is where we celebrate Black high achievers like the guest we have today, who are making meaningful contributions in their professional fields as well as in our communities. Our mission is to share the powerful narratives of resilience, innovation, and leadership of each of our guests as they shape a brighter future for us all. In each episode, we'll bring you an in-depth interview. It will be a chat more than an interview with these trailblazers, the visionaries and change makers who are breaking barriers and paving the way for a more inclusive and equitable world. I'm your host, Edwina, and I'm thrilled to embark on this journey with you as we shine a spotlight on the inspiring stories and remarkable achievements of our guests. Today, we have the honor of kicking off our podcast series with a very special guest. Joining us is Morenike Ajayi, MBE, Dame of the Order of St. George, who is a multifaceted professional dedicated to career development and social impact. Morenike is the CEO and founder of Career Nuggets, a social enterprise supporting Black professionals through mentoring, networking, and workshops on a voluntary basis. Alongside this, she's also the executive director of corporate services, overseeing IT, finance, HR, risk, and governance. Her past experience includes roles with PricewaterhouseCoopers. So we're talking big names here. Transport for London and the pension sector, where she managed a 6 billion fund. Morenike is recognized for her contributions to race, equality, and inclusion, and she was awarded an MBE in 2022. She is an active board member, chair of the Audit and Risk Committee, treasurer of London Youth, alongside a host of other accomplishments. She is also a chartered accountant, TV presenter, property investor, public speaker, and author of two career-focused books. That is Morenike, but this is just a summary of what she is actually and what makes her. In this episode, we're going to dive into Morenike's journey, explore the impact of career nuggets, and discuss the importance of creating opportunities for underrepresented groups in the workplace. So, after that long speech, let's welcome you to our podcast, Morenike Ajayi, MBE. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Edwina. It's such a delight and a pleasure to be here on OFBM on the podcast. I'm so excited and I'm honored actually to have the invite to come.
Thank you. Thank you. I know that we have time, and at the same time, we don't have time. So what I'm going to do is a lot of this will be a chat. We've had conversations before, and I told you I was awed by,
Oh,
I will
bless.
call it your footpath from
Mm.
birth to where you are. I
Mhm.
remember that you were born in Wales, and
Correct.
I'm
Yeah.
going to start off from there. So let's start with your background and inspiration. So
Okay.
my question will be to ask you first, if you could just share with our audience a bit about your background and what inspired you to become a certified accountant as well.
Okay. All right. So I will try and summarize this. So I was born, like you rightly said, in Wales, in Cardiff. I'm a Welsh black woman. And I did my first 9 years were basically in Wales. And then my mom was a single mom. So my dad left us when I was about 18 months. And then she had the time she was pregnant with my sister. So it's just the two of us and my mom. But when she got to 9, she felt a bit lonely. It was a bit hard, her alone in a foreign land to her, raising two young children. So we relocated back to Nigeria, but we didn't go to anywhere that looked like Wales. We relocated back to a place that where my mom's family were, where she could get support. And it meant that the basic amenities that you expect in life, water, light, were not available. And secondly, she couldn't really afford on her salary to send us, my sister and I, to like a private nursery school. So she home taught us. I was 9, so she home taught me to go into a federal school, which is equivalent to like an 11 plus school here. And when I got into the school, because it was kind of for the privileged. I would say 90% of the pupils in that school were from privileged backgrounds. I struggled, really struggled with connecting with them. I struggled with my identity. I was very timid, very shy, didn't really speak up, mainly because I didn't sound like them. I had a strong Welsh accent. They couldn't understand me. I struggled to understand them. I didn't really think I fitted. Where I was living, if I needed water sometimes, my sister and I would have to go to the stream and get water or put a bowl out, collect the rain and boil the rainwater and drink that. So it was very humble beginnings and going to a school that they were just not the same class. I was really young, I was about 10, still trying to find out who I really was. So my secondary school, I was really, really hidden. It's even a joke on our school chat at the moment. When some of them discover, connected with me, thank God for social media several years ago, some of them were saying my nickname was Timmy D. And they're like, oh, is that not Timmy D on the TV show? That can't be her. And I'm on the platform and reliving those memories. I kept quiet because I just found myself in that platform and I was really reliving all my young. So you can imagine, and that continued all through my university, which was also in Nigeria. Then I relocated back to the UK. Now, before I relocated to the UK, I had an encounter during so when you finish from the degree, because I'm just assuming not everybody will be a Nigerian that will watch this podcast. We do
Correct.
what we call in National Youth Service. It's 1 year program. And when I got there, the same shy timidity, I mean, all these things, it meant that I didn't really flourish in my school certificate. I had to retake my GCSEs twice. My university just barely graduated with a second class lower. So everything was very mediocre because I was so self-conscious and I was so insecure. So during youth service, I got a bit fed up with that. And I found my faith. I've always been a Christian from birth, but during the youth service was a time that I thought, I don't want to do my parents' religion. I don't want to do anybody else's religion. I wanted to know God for myself. I said, God, I just locked myself up. I said, Lord, why did you bring me to this earth? It doesn't look palatable so far, but there must be a reason. And we had this encounter, and I had a real encounter because it felt like I went into a trance, so to say, and it looked like somebody was taking off coats off me. And I can only put those coats to be like coats of rejection or coats of reproach. These coats were coming off. Then I felt a warm coat was placed on me, and I take that to be acceptance, love, greatness, like a coat of greatness. Because all the while, as I said, I'd always wanted the affection. I was looking for affection because my dad not being there. There was an instance in my secondary school when I mentioned my dad because he's quite affluent. And somebody said, is it because you have the same surname you want to say you're connected to him? I'm his firstborn, so you can imagine with people saying that, I just said my dad's dead, all these sort of emotions growing up with that. And during that time, I read computer science. So when I came back to the UK, I was then a new person, really determined that I wanted to really excel in whatever I did. I didn't want to relive my early years anymore. I renamed myself Queen Esther. I said, this is now a new chapter of my life. I'm just going to take and enjoy the life that God has given me. There's a reason for that. So I said, number one, we were really poor. I don't want poverty. And I say it today with no apology, I love money. So I work as hard as I can to have some money, to be a blessing. I just felt, why not? So I started as a computer programmer. Then I realized that this is going to be a long haul because I do not like studying at all. And there was always one certification or the other. The programming language was changing rapidly. And I thought, this is not sustainable if I'm going to be successful in this. And that's what led me to retrain as an accountant because it was a structured program and any organization requires an accountant. And I thought I'll have a
Correct.
job for life, just do the hard work, go through the 4 years of training, and then voila, that's what I am till today, after 30
Today.
years on.
What a journey. What a journey. Thank you for sharing your background with us. And
You're
I was
welcome.
just thinking of what you said about the rejection, which is similar to what people feel. Your faith came through um
Yes.
in the message you just gave. So I'm going to lift that and put
Okay.
it into what we're going to talk about later, which is within the workplace, the rejection, the
Mm-hmm.
fear,
Mm-hmm.
which some people would say stops them from moving forward or achieving. What I
Mm-hmm.
did like was when you said, I make no apologies for liking money. You
Yeah.
work hard for it, so you must enjoy
Mm-hmm.
your earnings as well.
Yes.
So I'm going to now go to career nuggets because that's a big one.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I am so interested in learning how it came about, why it came about. And there are other questions I'm going to ask you related to this. But obviously, when we speak, whatever comes from it is how we'll move on. So I'm going to ask you, what was your initial vision about behind founding Career Nuggets? How did it evolve? The why? Why
Behind.
did you do it?
Yes. So you did allude to the fact rejection. So I was fortunate after several attempts to get onto a graduate trainee program, which is very structured, which meant for my 4 years I was able to go through, have a nice structure, well-rounded accountant, and I got a job doing really well. And my appraisals was always very great in terms of being a solid accountant. But there's this thing in me that always wants more. I realized in the organization that when you're looking at lower level and mid management, it
Mhm.
appeared to be diverse. When I say diverse, different colors of skin, different colors of people. But when you progress above that middle management, it seemed to be just one color and almost one sex. And I'll be really blunt, it was like the white male. And I just thought, but that's where the decisions are being made. That's where they're driving the organization forward. Where I am at the moment is just doing. I'm curious, what are they saying there? And I just started applying. I was chatted, but there was always like an invisible glass ceiling. I couldn't break that glass ceiling. Always the second best. So eventually, I went out and looked for a mentor in that organization who employed over 30,000 individuals. And I got this mentor who said, and I told her that I just need her for 3 months. This is what I want. And she acted as a mentor as well as a sponsor. So I applied for a role. But because I was a very good technical accountant, my department didn't want to release me. It was an internal vacancy. And she was able to put that word in and said, look, she needs to move because, we'd worked together to plot my career path, and I needed that job to give me the stepping stone to where I was going. So I moved across, and I was really doing really well until there was a restructure in the organization. And having got to senior management, I was told, would you mind drop into the band below, but you maintain your pay, but we just don't want you to be, in senior management. Drop to managerial grade. You're not losing any money. For me, it was more than money. I'd worked so hard. I wanted to be part of the senior leadership. It was more about I'd worked hard together. Why take me off? I'm not going to accept that, and I knew my worth. So I accepted the redundancy package. But before I left the department, another vacancy came out just for maternity cover. So I took it on, and then along the line, I needed a surgery to do with my tummy and all that. And I went in, and unfortunately, so when I told my line manager, I said I'll be off for a week. It was a keyhole surgery. Unfortunately, the procedure went wrong, which meant I had to stay longer in hospital. So my line manager at the time then threatened me that if I didn't show up, she's going to terminate that job and I will then be left to take my redundancy package. So out of fear, I discharged myself from hospital, went to work. By the time I got to work, all the liquid, when you have a surgery, the
Yes, the
had already
dream.
was just my dress basically was stuck to my belly. And
Wow.
it was all wet, so I had to use my shawl to cover it. And in that condition, I still worked because I was really scared that I'm going to lose my job. When it got to about 4, I was only allowed to leave the department around 5. 4, I was feeling dizzy. Then I thought, 4:30, I've got to get home. I've got to get this checked up. While I was going, fortunately, I was able to get the train on the other end where I live, and I was heading towards the hospital. As I got there, I just collapsed. And that became an ordeal in hospital for 19 days. And guess
Wow.
what? She still sacked me. Not sacked, but she terminated my appointment. And I was given a redundancy package. And I then had, while I was in hospital, because she did it while I was in hospital, I reflected and said, how many more people in our community will be going through this? And there's just no one to talk to, no one to speak to. This is about, over 20 years ago. There was just nobody out there to see, explain the situation to. I knew I was being treated unfairly. But then I was receiving a very big package, redundancy package, about 70K. And I thought, I could spend this money, it won't take me long. But what can I put back into the community? Because I knew my skills, I knew I'll get another job. As a matter of fact, I did get another job almost immediately. And that's what birthed Career Nugget. Career Nugget was put together because I didn't want anybody to walk their career journey alone. I felt it's quite lonely. I felt we need more representation of Black people. I'm being very specific. Black people in leadership. I need people that can look after us. It's not good enough to say, I'm the only Black person at this level. Not good.
Yeah.
We need more of us. We need to be able to effect changes. We need to enlighten people about our community, our culture, just as we imbibe their culture, other people's culture, so
Mhm.
that we bring that diversity of thoughts and action and enrich the workplace. So I felt I'm an agent of change. I want a change. This should not happen to anybody else. And I thought I could put together a little seminar, but that would only affect a few people. Not many people knew me. As I told you, I was very shy, timid. I didn't really have much
Introverted,
friends.
yes.
Yes, didn't have friends. So if I put an event together, who's going to show up? So I decided to bite the bullet and start straight with a TV show on Sky. Now that was a hurdle to overcome. I thought because I've got the money, I poured all my redundancy. The only thing I took out of that redundancy as a family, we went on a holiday to Jamaica, and that was the treat. And we did
Not
that.
not bad.
Yeah, we treated ourselves to a lovely holiday, 2 weeks, and every other thing went into this TV show. But even though I was putting money on the table, nobody would take it because I had no broadcasting experience. I knew nobody in the TV industry, but I was very persistent. I was like a bulldog. Each time they chased me, I was back again. And then I decided to do some pilot shows like this, like recordings, like on just
Yes, the
use
webinars, the short
yeah, did some
things.
recordings, and then I showed them what I was doing. So, the particular channel on Sky then said, "Okay, we'll give you a trial." And as they aired my program, it was a hit for the night. All the other programs they were showing didn't have that number of hits. And I'd recorded 13 episodes, and that was the beginning. He now said, "You know what, your next one, you don't need to pay. Just do the recording, bring it to us, we will show it." And that was the beginning of Career Nuggets. To raise what I was trying to do is I realized that when I reached out to black accomplished professionals,
Professionals.
nobody wanted to speak to me. Everybody was so protective of their roles. They were scared to be seen. They just wanted to put their head down. But funny enough, when it came to TV on Sky, everybody wanted to be on
Wanted
TV.
to be, yes.
Yes, so it was my way, it was my way to showcase that we do have role models in the community. We're not all about music and sports. There are some accomplished professionals at the pinnacle of their career, but most importantly, as I was interviewing them, I was improving myself. I was asking them questions that were pertinent to myself. I was gleaning off them. If you won't sit with me in a quiet place, I'll get you on TV and get
I will
everything I
get it.
needed.
Yeah.
I will get it from you and showcase this to the world and say, look, the world is our oyster. This is what they're doing. This is what's out there. These are the obstacles they face. This is how they've overcome it. And I did about 56 episodes. Now, following on from that, it then turned out that people would ring in for mentorship or they want to connect with this role model. So I'll be connecting people. Then I thought, you know what, why don't we start now with events? So that people can come to those events,
Hey,
meet some of these role models, talk, we can have a chit chat, and that's how Career Nugget was birthed. And today, 10 years on, this is our 10th year. We now run an academy which is certified by the Institute of Leadership and Management and is made
that's
up of
great.
modules from all these professionals that I gleaned off the information. We've packaged it. ILM has assessed us, quality assured it, and said, yes, this is brilliant. You roll it out, you can use, and they've accredited it. We run loads of events. And yeah, we're so basically it's all about being a support hub for the members of the Black community to flourish, to thrive, to excel in their career and have a fulfilling career because it's not all about money as well. It's being in a place where you're valued, where you know you could
Hmm.
add value there and you're happy, so that's what it's about. And that was what led to the birth of Career Nuggets.
Wow, that's an amazing story. And you know what? Something I gleaned off what you said was a lot of people get redundancy pay. They do the holiday, the shoes, the clothing, the big lifestyle, but nothing is put back into the community. And this podcast is specifically for those who are impacting the Black community, the deprived communities as well. There's something you did say. I think, and when you said, oh, that was about 20 years ago, it resonated with me. We were afraid.
Mm.
So,
Mhm.
what I would find is in a workplace, when you speak English, there's
Mhm.
sometimes shock that you're from Nigeria and
Mm.
you're speaking the Queen's English with the
Correct.
right diction, the right tenses. Yes, our accent might
Hmm.
be different, but we showed intelligence, we showed capacity for growth.
Correct.
I believe that scared some people. What would you say about that? Would you think that was where I, over the years, we all now speak freely of racism in the workplace,
Hmm.
which was quite intense in 20 years ago, but
Hmm.
nobody spoke up about it. Not many did anything about it, but what you did is you took money that could have made you comfortable and you put back out there to grow others as well.
Yeah.
Um, that is an amazing story. And
Mhm.
the one thing that I wanted to find out, do you remember the date that your TV show aired for the first time?
I remember the month and year. It was June 2020, June 2020, 2015.
2015. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
June
10 years,
2015.
as you
Yeah.
said. It's your
Yeah.
10th anniversary.
Yeah. Yes.
And another thing that came out of this is what you yourself did. You sought mentorship. I'm repeating it because I want people to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
You found someone who would help you grow.
Yes.
Today, you are not only helping people grow, you're teaching others how to help others get
Correct.
to that top place. I
Correct.
wanted to repeat it so that it's clear that there's someone who is doing it, there are others who are doing it, but you specifically are not just sitting comfortably in your comfort. You are using your time, your effort, and resources to ensure that there are more people who look like you, who
Yes.
speak like you, who are in the same position you are. Thank you very much for that. We're
Mm.
still going to talk about career nuggets because I like parties. You know
Yes.
that. I like events.
I
And I
know.
know about what happens in December because I've seen the photos and I want in on that. So we're going to come to that towards
Okay.
the end.
Yes.
And I think that would be where um I can't wait to hear how these soiree things happen, go on. How do you decide the theme? What are we wearing
Yes.
today? Because
We
when I
have all
looked
of them.
back, yeah, you had an all white in December. But
Correct.
then when I look back, I saw you'd had different themes
Yeah,
in the
different
past as
themes.
well.
Yes. In the past, I mean, so during the year, Career Nugget is about all empowerment. People, we run the academy, we do mentorship, we do seminars, and everybody's empowered. So
Mhm.
to end the year, we think people need to now let their heads down and just celebrate a good year they've had career-wise, and that's what led to the soiree. But every soiree launches the theme that we hold on to for the following year. So we've had kings and queens. Yes, you can. So we go into the year with determination that you can, and we've got never say never again. That was a year that was the year we came out of COVID, and quite a lot of people had lost jobs or gone through a lot of setback. And we're just saying never say never again. Just keep at it. And this year's theme is take off, no more cruising. So
I know what is going to be. Invites will be like passports. Your tickets will be passports.
yes,
I can
yeah,
imagine the dress code.
yeah,
Okay.
yes,
I love
yes.
that though. And
So
it's
yes.
also a networking opportunity, isn't it,
It is,
for
it is.
cohorts?
Yeah, so it's there's fun, there's networking, and we still do inspiration. So it's over 2 days. The Friday is in the comfort of your home, and we're having keynote speakers touching on different issues, sharing their story to inspire us for the following year. Because you see, when you what most of the things that people see is the finished product, but that product has gone through so much fire, so much trials, so much, and people need to understand the
Refinements.
story, the process behind the finished product they're seeing, so that when they're going through that process phase, they know that
Mhm.
there is light at the end of the tunnel. Stay there, be tenacious, get to the end. So yeah, so we do inspirational talks, a lot of dancing, good food. Yeah, and that's always the first Saturday in December. So you're definitely
So
going to be doing that.
I'm going to be there this year, and anyone
Yes,
listening, just know
yes,
I am
yes,
going to be there this
yes,
year. So
yes.
we've talked about your background, how you became an accountant,
Mm-hmm,
how career nuggets evolved,
mm-hmm,
the trials you had in the workplace. I was extremely, and that's something that needs to go out. There's something a lot of us do because we want to hold on to our job, we neglect our health. And the truth is, at O5BM, health and well-being is priority
mm,
for
it is.
us.
It
So
is.
it is important that I do mention that when it comes to a workplace, I understand you're afraid of losing your income,
Mm-hmm,
financial obligations, but just remember, if you're not here, the
mm,
next day someone else will step into that position.
absolutely. Well,
So we keep saying it, mental health, physical health, just general health and well-being. It is priority for everyone. And it's
it,
something that we always
mm-hmm,
um endeavor to protect within O5BM as well. Okay, so
yes.
over to my next question. I've enjoyed this. I can't believe it. The time has flown so quickly.
It has,
Now,
yes.
when I see, if you put career nuggets in Google, what
Yes.
you see is building Black professional leaders for the future. I love it. I
Yes.
love it. So we've talked about your soiree, which I'll still
Mhm.
talk about again because I like that. Um, you've also told me about professional experiences that have shaped your commitment to personal and professional, that have shaped your commitment to empowering the Black community. Now, I'm going to ask you about success stories.
Hmm.
How do you measure what is success for someone who's been through your academy? What is a success story and how does it look?
Okay. So Just right now, a message came in. So our academy is finishing next week, Wednesday. And this said, "Hi, Morenike. I just want to say thank you. Career Nuggets has changed my entire outlook about work and my career, and I'm seeing results already. I'll share my experience by email, but I just wanted to let you know." For me, I receive those messages like that very, very frequently. And that's actually the fuel that keeps me going. So when people come to me, they're either in a place where they're stagnant, they're either facing challenges, conflicts in the workplace. They like the work, but there's somebody that's giving them a hard time. Or some just at a crossroad, they don't know where to go. Or some has, maybe because I'm a female leader, Career Nugget is for both male and female, but we have more ladies. And a lot of them would have either put their career on hold because they've been nurturing their children, nurturing, for the family. So now they've got the empty nest. They're thinking, I'm 50, almost 50. Is there any hope for me? And I'm saying, there is. And these are the sort of people that come through our net. And we spend time, so we only run the academy January to March, mainly because we spend the rest of the year to support whoever's been on the academy. And everybody will come with, we tell them one clear objective. Don't put tens of objectives on the table. So someone might come and say their objective is they want to earn more money. And we would look at the whole situation, pros and cons, money. Some would say, I want to move to the next level. Some would say, I want to be recognized as a valuable person in my workplace. I don't want to change, but I want to be called on the table for decisions, depending on what the objective is. And that's why we start with a clear objective. And then we ask them later on, we see those things happening. Recently, yeah, because we had the academy on Wednesday, last Wednesday, we had a lady who she earned so much money because she was a contractor in the banking sector. But she got to a point where she felt she was just doing the job, earning money, but she wasn't fulfilled. So she attended our academy. We put a plan together, worked with her, and now she's just got a very good job. So she had to move into like a local authority because I felt her expertise would be valued there. So she had to leave the banking sector, change industry. The pay was like half what she had earned, but I said you can make a mark, and she was able to make so much. She went into a permanent role, so that was a strategic move.
Yes.
The total package was not too far off, but people like money in their pocket, not a pension telling me about all the benefits. They want to see the money. But we broke it down, so she saw that it wasn't too much of a loss for her. But I said, you're going there intentionally. You are going there to effect change. All the things you've done in the private sector, they're so good. In the public sector, in some areas, they're behind. So you're going to shine. You're going to show them how to do things and have some clear achievements. And when you do that, we talk about your next level. I said, you got to do this for at least 12 to 18 months to really make an impact. So there's no rush. We're on a journey. And then January last year, she joined us 2 years ago for the academy. January this year, she's now with KPMG as one of their program managers. Back and her salary has doubled. We take people on a journey. We tell them it's a
Wow.
process. There's no quick, but depending on where people are, some people will say, look, I've got so much bills. I need money. Okay. So we tailor what we give them. The mentoring. I work with 40 other mentors. It's not just me, but
I
I'm the
was going
most
to ask.
passionate person. I'm just very passionate and I want to see the change. So that's the success for us. When people are achieving their goals, we do have maybe a dropout rate, maybe less than 10%, where maybe due to their family commitments or other things, people will drop out because we have to work together. It's a partnership. I can't make it happen. In fact, it's not, we work with them, but we tell them you have to own your destiny. You have to own it and do the work that is required. So that's the success stories for us. And we've helped several people just out of passion to just see because the ethos behind it is that we want the older generation to move into these senior roles. You can then put the ladder down for the
The
pipeline, the young
next.
coming, the next generation. They need to see us there for them to aspire for that. They need to see that we're there. And then they know that actually I can achieve that. And that's what it's all about. It's all about inspiration and role modeling positively.
That is an amazing. I love the ladies' feedback to you.
Mm.
I can't imagine receiving things like that daily. My head would just be this big, honestly. But as you said, it's a passion. It's something you
Yeah.
wanted to do to give back. And the
Yes.
result is what you're getting back, where people are saying, thank you. You've
Yes.
changed my life. That's what
Yes.
everyone's looking for.
Yes.
And I also love the fact that you are you are asking them to be intentional in what they want to get from you.
Yes.
Because it is usual to say, I want money, I want the position, I want this. It's a case of priorities. What
Yes.
is more important to you right
Absolutely.
now? And I
Absolutely.
love the way the woman pivoted as well. So she's gone from the contractual corporate into local authority into KPMG. What else?
Yeah.
And back up into and she's got the money, she's
Yes.
also got the recognition as well. So
Yeah.
I think that is what a lot of people who will be listening to this will want to know. How can I get that? How do I grab that? So for those listening, career nuggets, they are online, and we will come to that towards the end on how you can reach them and how you can find them. We don't have much time left, so I'm just going to go straight to the next one. You've already told us how you support professionals in their journey to executive roles. You covered that. You've also, because I was going to ask you about that, you've shared success, a sample of what success looks like for you from the cohorts or students that have gone through the academy. The impact I would say you've seen, but I'm going to come into the community parts and how you have impacted it. Because one thing is to say, I'm building Black professional leaders. And in doing so, they will, as you said, hold out a hand to bring others up there. What are the major challenges that you have? Obviously, there's nothing that goes smoothly. There'll be hiccups. Anything that is this good would have had, as you said, the refinements, the power. What would you say have been the major challenges that you have faced with building, growing, and not only that, maintaining? Because this is 10 years you were talking
Mm.
about.
Yeah.
I know many organizations like yours that have come up, started, been the noise and banner for everybody, take 10,000 people and then collapse and they've disappeared.
Mm.
10 years is a long time. So, what I'm going to ask you is, what are the challenges that you will consider are major, and how have you overcome them? And how have you maintained your position over 10 years to still be a
Mhm.
credible organization that you are?
So thank you for saying credible. For me, integrity has been very key. I would not promise something I can't do. So we've had people that will come and somebody would say, because I'm on TV, oh, I want to be, can you help me? I want a career in theater arts or something like that. I don't have any mentor in that area. I can't really make it happen. I can give you skills that can help you stand out. So I'm very clear on what my offering is. And everybody, there's no promises in terms of getting it, we'll get you a job or we'll give you the skills. So I think integrity is very key. The other thing for me is consistency. Even though there've been challenges, so I remember a workplace where I was, it cost me my job. My boss just couldn't understand how can you run a social enterprise and be 100% at work, even though I was clearly over delivering at work, but he struggled with it. So when I get to that junction, I'm thinking, that's my livelihood I'm going to lose here. I'm just doing this for people, but for me, that's what I set out to do. And maybe because of my faith, I've always been privileged to always get another role. So I've faced three redundancies in my career, and it's all been around wanting to model, to prove to people that it's possible. So I've been a pioneer in so many fronts where I was one of the first female directors in my set, in my community. And I wanted to prove to people that you can be a director in the workplace, but each time I got it, I didn't quite get, I was still operating like I was a senior manager and I didn't really retain that role. So it took me some learning. So I'm learning and I'm empowering others through my experience. But I didn't let go of the structure of what we were doing, which is the core about being that support hub, sharing knowledge, sharing experiences. Don't let somebody fall in the ditch that I fell falling into, or somebody else, or any of the other mentors. Every one of us are very open about our experience, and we're very practical because we want people to learn from it. Then the other thing is about being adaptable. So when I started, the end of year celebration was called the Career Nugget Ball. And because I knew that the community love a good party, but then I, as an individual, I like empowering people. So when I put
Mhm.
this first ball together, I had so many speakers and they spoke all the way till almost 11, right from 6 o'clock.
Wow.
And people
No
said,
dance,
no
no
dance.
dancing, no
And
music, and
I had one of the top DJs in the room, DJ Abbas, and he never got to
wow.
play. 11 o'clock we were going, and then people started leaving, and then there was no music, and we just paid him some money for nothing. And people said, "But you called it a ball. This was like a
Yes.
seminar." And the backlash of the feedback was terrible. I remember one lady telling me, and you call yourself, she really lashed me in front of people. I was battered, I was bruised. I thought I was empowering them, but I didn't understand it called, a ball. That's not what people
Yeah.
did. So the following year, I'm thinking, okay, I want people to have a party, but I still had the speakers. I wanted to empower the youth. I had everything going. We finished again almost after 10. Oh, I reduced it a bit, but still
But
late.
it's still not enough.
No, yeah. So and I thought with all the backlash, I think the second time I really wanted to give up. I thought this is not for me. I don't know how to do parties and what's not. So
Mhm.
I went around to look at what different people are doing in terms of what is a party. I realized that what makes a party is people want to dance. You can give them the good food, give them all the good ambience, but if they don't dance, it's not
But they
it.
need to dance.
What they
Correct.
need to dance. So what I'm saying is there's learning in the process. I'm hitting it in the mentoring, hitting it in that. The party bit I didn't really understand. Go out, learn. I thought, okay, hence now we we do the SWAR over 2 days. So I take all the talky bits on a Friday virtually. So people are in the comfort in their room. They're getting all the empowerment. That's what tickles my fancy. I love that. So we do that on a Friday. On Saturdays, more about showcasing our successes. So people who have gone through the academy week, they graduate. I cannot just throw a party. It's still got to be about career nuggets.
Yes,
But
correct.
we discipline ourselves and we make sure that whatever we've done from 6 to 9 is enough. And 9 to 11, people get a very good dance. They dance and dance, and people are happy, and people love. So there's been adaptability. There's been some times when I'm running seminars, I've been doing in London, going, TOEFL, carrying all sorts of things, and I've thought of smarter ways to package the same information to benefit
Okay.
people. So we've got the academy going. So over the years, we've adapted our offering to suit um the audience, and then also fine-tune the audience as well. When I started, I wanted to meet everybody from age 10 to 60. I wanted to be for everyone. I wanted to help the young one, the adult, everybody was come, 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 come. And then you pull a big seminar together and everybody's looking lost because there's no focal points. There are too many things
Yes,
happening.
it's happening.
So yeah, and everybody's leaving with half-baked because they not got the fullness of what they want. So what am I saying? Whatever I do in terms of being the visionary, the leader of Career Nuggets, I'm always seeking feedback. I know there's always room to improve. I want to be at the cutting edge. Excellence is key for me. I want to make sure that, and as much as I want to give so much, I want to make sure it's relevant to whoever I'm serving. So we fine-tuned it to be more than matured crowds with the mind that you are getting empowered, but that's why we're building black professional leaders for the future, because you become a leader. A leader inspires others. That's one key thing for a
Correct.
leader.
Mhm.
You're also giving back. By that way, all the different people I want to reach, we are reaching them because I'm churning out the leaders. I see when I started Career Nuggets, nobody was doing a pure career development outlet. But now
It was,
it's inspired so many others to do it.
yeah.
And that's, yeah, because then you can't do everything. And I learned that I can't
Yes,
savior of the world. Let me do mine well, showcase it, and others will pick their own niche. And together as a community, as a Black community, we're all reaching out and supporting the community to excel, to flourish, to thrive. So that's been the journey that, that's what's kept it going. We keep on refining it, we keep on making it better, keep on listening
better.
to the audience, to who the people we're serving, and then make sure we're incorporating. Where we can't, make it clear we can't. But we try and partner with others
Partners.
that can also do, I so everybody will come to me and say, Morenike, you need to do this for the youth. You need to do this. I know what I do. Where I can, I get them work placement, but I work with other organizations that I can signpost them to. I cannot do everything. So that's
Yeah.
what's kept us going.
Thank you for sharing that. It's very refreshing to put your hand up and say, I got it wrong. I got it wrong. But what I did do was I learned from what I did incorrectly.
Mm,
I listened, I heard, I changed, and that's why I'm still here.
mm.
It is very good. And I also will draw back, and I'm going to reference O5BM. We are over 50 Black men forum. We are specific in who we look after, who we care for. And the reason is because you will know that if I asked you how many women groups are, you can count
Mm-hmm,
thousands of
mm-hmm,
men's issues are usually overlooked,
mm-hmm.
buried, overshadowed. And that's why we are giving them a voice through O5BM as well.
Yes.
Um, Career nuggets, very interesting. And I am still on community, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But I think one of the questions I was going to ask you was how important is community support and networking in the success of career nuggets? Well, you referenced it a bit when you said I signpost them, I reach out, partnerships, and things like that. If I say partnership, what I would want to find out when you say you work with other partners, who are these partners? If you could just give us an example of what
Okay.
collaboration with them
Okay.
would be.
So at the moment, because I work full time, I a lot of the things to run Career Nuggets just requires money. So we have so some of the seminars we have, I will partner with some organizations and say, you have a boardroom here. Can we use that for our seminar or something? That's a partnership. And that saves me money from getting a venue. I'll say, just pay for the venue, let us use it. Then we run the academy. There's an organization called Precious Pearls, and what they do is they look for the vulnerable women and see how they can empower them and help them in their career or business. They partner with us, and every year they sponsor one or two people to the academy, and we in return give back to their community of women using our mentors to deliver seminars for free for them. So there are a few charities like that that we would offer our services and they don't pay us. So that's what I mean by partnership. There's more that I would want, but I've realized that partnership only works if both parties are coming to the table with an offering. If you're the only one giving and the other one is receiving, it might start off, but it's not going to be sustainable. Both parties need to see value in the union and not what they're going to grab, but everybody's bringing something to the table. In effect, everybody's receiving something. So those are the sort of people we partner with corporates, we partner with organizations that they can give us something, we give them something back. Then we have people that just look like some of the people that have gone through academy or mentoring. They just bless us with funds and say, particularly around this soiree, you'll have someone that say, you know what, I'm going to pay for your photographer. I'm going to pay for that because they've seen the benefits. And we have people that still stay on because we run a career nugget club. Once you finish the academy, stay in the hub because once you've done any learning, if you don't stay in an environment that is growing and continuous development, you might lose that momentum and you just go back to stagnation. So the career nugget club is for people that just want to always be at the cutting edge of what they're doing. And people just donate, people get empowered. We're going away on a trip in May. 70 of us are going on a cruise. So it's things we do. It's more than just we think to excel in your career, you have to, um, like you said at the beginning, it's about your well-being. You've got to be well holistically. So we try and incorporate that. So if I'm running like the trips, I'll partner with an event planner to do that for me because I try, but it's not necessarily my strength. So when I say partnerships, I would outsource things for people to do so that it makes us a thriving
Strong. Yes.
organization and a strong organization. So I don't do everything. Yeah. So the
Okay.
bits and bobs of it are outsourced.
You would outsource. And
Yeah.
it's usually to Black businesses as well. Is that correct? Or
Yes,
do
I don't
you?
sound.
Yeah, I want I know
Yes,
because I
it
know
is
what career
actually.
organization it
It
is.
is. It is. I always support a lot of black business. Even
Black
today, for
businesses.
our trip to May, I was going to buy some sun hats from online. And then
Mhm.
somebody told me of a black gentleman that actually does hats. And I've just called him up. I said, "You're a small business. I want to buy the hats from you. Anything to support my community, I'm in as much as I can." Yeah.
That is what we're talking about, impacting the community, because there's the man who didn't know you. Now he has a business from you. And hopefully he will learn from that, that if he needs something else, there's another black small business, same size, smaller
Yeah.
than his, that he can also contract to do
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
So we've talked about everybody else. I'm going to read things to you now,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Is going to lead us to those three letters at the end of Ajayi, after Ajayi. Yes. Wise Women Awards, Professional Christian Woman of the Year, National Diversity Awards winner. These are ringing bells, right?
Yes.
Positive role model for race, religion, and faith. Precious Awards winner, the Outstanding Woman in Banking and Finance. Women for Africa Women. Is it Women for Africa winner,
Africa.
Career Woman of the Year, Rising Star Diversity, and this was from We Are the City Top 100 Award winners.
Mm.
So, Morenike, MBE. Tell me about your journey to MBE. Let me just repeat again. You were honored with an MBE for your outstanding contributions to race equality and inclusion. What
Mm.
does this mean to you personally and professionally?
Hmm. Do you know what? It means so much considering my background, how I explained, being such humble beginnings, really insignificant most of my life. I go into a room and everybody else is known except me, and I'm just there in a corner to being just doing something that I'm passionate about, just loving my community. I really love my community. When I see people, I see potentials. I cannot explain it. It got me into trouble with one of my bosses when she says, your risk radar is never on. Because she's pessimistic. She always sees the worst in the situation and she said, then we can prepare for that. And I just can't see that. I'm always seeing opportunities. I'm just always buzzing like that. And as much as I say everything is great, some people have been very mean to me in the community. It's not been smooth sailing.
Mhm.
It's been where people have been envious. I've faced quite a bit. And you think, but I love the community. Why can't they love me this way? People have tried to set up something similar just to boycott, get people to boycott coming to Career Nuggets, just to, you think, why? So when the MBE came, I'll be honest with you, it was at a low point. I'd suffered some betrayals, people that you've let in, they've been mentors, they've just gleaned the mentees I had, they've just gone to create something on the side. I was a bit low. And I just thought, why? Why can't people just understand that we're all working for the same cause? Let me be, and I can support you. It's not that I have a roadmap. I just, like I said, I finesse it every time. I didn't say, I only just want to empower. So when it came, obviously some people had put me forward and I wasn't aware. They'd work closely with my husband to gather all the information, put it in. It was like a dream each time I looked at the letter, I was like, is this me? Is this me? Is this me? And it's still a dream. I'm so, so grateful to God because it just shows that when God's hand is in what you do, no matter what men do, you will always still come out tops. He has a way, he has a good sense of humor, and that just energized me the more to continue. And then you still have some lovely people like the text I read and some others that would just keep on cheering me on. And it's not about money, but it keeps me going, is the fuel. So that's what those three letters, every time I see those three letters, I'm like, this must open doors for members of my community. And it has. There's some people that I would never be able to speak to, but when they see the letters, it speaks
They
credibility.
open the door.
They open the door. They open the door. So before the letters, no corporate organization would host us for an event. I went everywhere. Please, I remember even employing someone who sent several letters and I didn't get one person. And the letters came, and now, for the past 3 years, we've never needed to pay for a venue for the events, the two fireside chats we do in a year. So I think that's what the letters do, and I'm pleased with that, and I'll continue to use it by God's grace.
Congratulations. It is such an honor to have you here. An
Thank you.
MBE, I'm sitting across talking to her,
Thank you.
learning all about her. So you've just told us how it has helped you professionally as well as
Mhm.
personally. Personally is a boost. It's a
It is. Yeah,
sign that do not believe that that low point where you are is always where you will be. That
that's correct.
there is a future and there are
Mm,
good things ahead of you.
absolutely.
It is an award anyone will be proud to receive, an honor anyone will be proud to receive.
Thank you.
Um, in terms of professionally, I like how you say opens doors. It allows you to put one foot in and then stand on that podium and then share again your
Hmm.
journey of how you got here and the
Yeah,
people you are impacting as well.
correct. Yeah.
You've told us already how you celebrate your students, which was another question I was going to ask. It's
Mhm.
amazing how this has flowed the way that it has. Before we round off, um, so we are where we are tomorrow. What are your plans? What are the future plans you have for career nuggets? Because you've talked about how you evolve, you
Hmm.
change. So I know as you're sitting there, and I know how your brain works from talking to you, it's like, see your calendar, I see you share that with me. And I'm like, if anyone tried this with me, they'll be looking for me. That you do work a lot.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Combining that with your day job as well, with your um personal life as a mom and a
Hmm.
wife,
Hmm.
a sister,
Yeah.
auntie, friends of friends, and it is a lot that you are taking on. So before I ask you how you chill and relax, which I know all these cruises are part of it, what is the future for Career Nuggets?
I think the future is we want to keep on impacting. We want to grow our club. So the club started last year, and that's one bit that we want to continue to grow it. We want to be able to take the academy to actual corporates. At the moment, is individuals that sign up. It'd be nice if we get a call from a corporate saying, "Oh, I want 5 people of members of our staff to attend your academy." But most importantly, we want to keep being relevant to the community we serve.
Thank you. But I'm going to come back again because I do not like to mind my business. You know that what you've just said about where corporates will be saying we will sponsor this number of people.
Mhm.
How are you marketing that to them?
We haven't. We haven't yet. So that's why it's in the pipeline. With everything on, I think I haven't got the capacity, but definitely in the future that will be that I just need to find the individual that would do that. Like, I said
Okay.
outsource things. I know what it is. I've got the package, I've got that. I just need somebody to do that.
Some the boots on the ground to be able to take that off you. So
Yes.
anyone that is listening, you heard what she said. Is that you? Do you have? And it's not go and take from her. She's already told you.
Yeah.
Partnership looks like you. What are you bringing?
to what
Yes.
she has to
Yeah.
achieve this.
Yes.
There's success for both sides, so it will be worth thinking about. Now, this diversity and inclusion
Mm-hmm.
corporate world,
Mm-hmm.
what do you see in the next? Before I say, well, ask you a question, I'm going to tell you that it has really changed. Number one, we speak up more now.
Mm-hmm.
We speak out more now. And it's not only because of the government policies, because you did have those policies, HR policies, but there's so many numerous stories of Black and minority people in organizations that suffered in silence.
Mm-hmm.
Even till now, some are still fearful of speaking. They are held bound by fear.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you see? Should I say, how do you envision the role of diversity and inclusion evolving in the workplace in, let's do 10 years? Because,
Um, hmm. So when we talk about diversity, I look at it as diverse thoughts, different kinds of people. Inclusion is making sure everybody is involved, whichever way, do whatever adaptability you want to do to make sure everybody's involved. Um,
correct.
I think we still have a long way to go. Like you said, we've made progress. But one thing I will tell members of my community is that in as much as some of us are bold enough to talk and some are still holding back, the most important thing is that you've got to be able to read the room. Not all organizations are there yet. So if you find yourself in an organization that hasn't quite embraced diversity and inclusion, but is still paying a lip service to it, you've got to watch how you speak up. But one thing I do tell everybody that comes my path is always bring the best version of yourself to the table. Always work on yourself. You really have no control over others. Even the work,
Correct.
even if you say things, but you have control over yourself. Invest in yourself. Make sure that you're ahead of the curve. You know what's coming. You don't wait until there's a restructure before you start running about. You know what's coming on the horizon. We know now that there's a lot of AI, there's a lot of things. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be on the cutting edge. That way, you keep yourself in there. When you're
Correct.
in there, you're making a statement as well. You first of all keep yourself in there before you start talking about everybody else. Now, yes, but I do want us to wake up in our community. Too many times when people come to me about D&I, when I probe, people are thinking somebody else needs to do something for us to make the workplace conducive. No, I'm I believe we have to do it. We got to love ourselves. So I give someone a job, an opportunity for a role, you're coming in late. There's some certain behaviors you're exhibiting that shouldn't be. You're closing the door to someone else. Let us love ourselves. Let's make integrity core value. When you're talking about your values, integrity is there. Watch your character, your behaviors. Develop yourself. Don't keep on running on old oil. Things are moving. I tell people your CV every 6 months, try and add something new to it. Something new, something new. Keep yourself current. Don't bring the CV out after 2 years and then say, well, I want a job. Update it every 6 months. Let it be always fresh. Once you're sorting yourself out, you're making yourself valuable to the company. You're in. Your life will
Mhm.
speak a lot that will give them the confidence to bring others. And I'm sharing my story in my current organization, the amount of black people. My husband thinks I'm racist. I said, no, it just happens to be that, and I don't know where this is going to be played. Now, God have mercy on me. It's not that I'm
we,
for black people,
we're
but
being honest. We at the end of the day, we're talking about your impact. We're talking about your story. It can't be
yeah,
someone else's. It's
yeah,
your lived experience, and
yeah,
no one can question
yeah.
you about that
Yes.
or say, "Oh, Morenike said this." It is what
No.
it is. So just speak
Yeah,
it.
so that's that for me, DNI. Be hardworking, then you speak. Your actions, your behavior speaks louder than the voice. If you're not a diligent worker and you're picking up all the inequalities in the workplace, you know what they would do? They'll quickly uproot you that
They
this
will
is a
use it.
disruptor.
They'll use it to wrap you.
Yes, they'll quickly uproot you. But if you're adding so much value, then it gives you the voice to talk. They'll sit down and listen. So that's my take.
I agree. And it's always putting that best foot forward.
It
It's
is.
also something I would add to that that someone did teach me a few years ago was when you enter the workplace, you are grading yourself. So you might not get a review for another 3 months. See, if you enter a workplace where after your first month you don't get any feedback, demand it.
Absolutely. I love that.
Nothing stops you from saying, I've been here this long. What do you think about this? At the end of that, whatever it is, good or bad, make a note of it, work on the bad, book in another feedback
Follow up.
appointment,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it, a
Mhm.
month from then, so that you can also measure yourself because what you think of yourself might not be what people see in you. And those that turn up at work, work starts at 9 o'clock and you got in at 9:01 and you're clapping for yourself. Ah, I got in on time. 9:01 is not right. You really should be sat at your desk, set up and ready to start at 9 if
Correct.
9 is it. So those are the sort of things people don't know. Those things are noted. They'll say, I never
Yeah.
did anything. I
Mm.
never did anything. It's because I'm black.
Mm.
Sometimes we overuse it and it does damage to those who
Mhm.
really need recognition of the fact that they are either being bullied or treated differently because of their race or color.
No, we would
So with
not overlook the fact that it is a challenge because there is racism in some. That's why I said understand the landscape. Because I went into I'll drop this last story. Went into a workplace and there was a restructure. No, they were doing a refurb of the office building. It was over 3 floors. And
okay,
I like volunteering and doing some things outside accounting. So I decided to join the project team for the new accommodation. And as they were designing it, somebody made a comment and said, "Oh, the kitchenette in the basement should be for the Africans because their food stinks." Then
no way.
I the hair on my back rose and I just didn't know where I
Wow.
found it in myself. And I said, "How would you say that?" I said, "Every food smells if you heat it. If you heat broccoli, it's going to give you a stink. Cheese, they all have a smell." I said, "Why would you say that?" Needless to say, I dropped that. There were other people in the room that felt that was offensive, but they didn't speak up. I got the sack, okay? Not the sack, but basically I was told my face no longer fits. But they changed that. Even though I left, that changed. Now that I wasn't expecting, and this is not long ago. So there are still corporates that you find the odd person that still is a bit
They have,
oblivious
yeah.
to what it means about including everybody, being open, and
Open.
so we need to be able to read the room. I and know how you land things there to stay
Before
there.
you put your feet in and lose what you could have managed for a while.
Yes.
Um, so I would ask, because you did this, not everybody else can do what you've done, but there are other ways that we can impact our own community positively. So, what advice would you give to someone who is looking to make a change, a positive impact in their community? It could be that they've started already,
Mhm.
it could be that they haven't, but they want to, but fear keeps them. I would ask you, what are the 3 or 4 things you should say that are steps they should take towards getting there? No, one of them is patience. Patience is required. Nothing happens overnight. They do not have to
Listen.
have had your experience
Yes.
or your, yes, to have had that. So what would you suggest will be advice you would give to someone who wants to do something within their community that makes a difference for
Mhm.
their community?
You've definitely got to have a clear vision. You need to be clear. Some people I've come across and they have an idea of what they want to sort out in the now. When we talk about vision, it's a long-term view. You have to have that long-term view. You have to take time to plan. You can't just rush into anything. You've got to plan and put preparation in place. You're going to need a lot of passion because there are people out there that call them, they kill every passion and every strength. They discourage us.
Passion killers.
So you need to have that passion. You need resilience and you need a solid support network. You can't do it alone. So important. That's what I
Yeah.
would say.
I think that applies. What you've just said applies in everything you do, even when you're going to study in school,
Yeah.
living life, moving away from home, entering a marriage, study,
Yes. Yes.
understand. Passion
Yes.
killers exist.
They
Be
do.
resilient. Know what you're doing. Be sure that you see, and you would have people that will say, you have to identify that there is a need for your services as well. That's very important. You
Yes.
can't just
Oh,
jump
yes.
into a community
Yes.
and decide to do whatever you want to. And I would also reference O5BM again. So, Father's Day, Black History Month, all of
Mm-hmm.
this. It's not
Mm-hmm.
that we do not recognize it, but
Mm-hmm.
we will rather support organizations who have been doing these events, activities
Mm-hmm.
for years than us trying to take away from it,
Yes.
because that's dividing our
Mm-hmm.
community. So choose
Yes.
call with me because we water down what we have when we do that. There is a need to be supportive and to
Yes.
cease being passion killers as well.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But I really do want
Okay,
to
so
appreciate. I really want to appreciate OFBM. I want to appreciate you doing
all
taking time
five
out.
year, we will rush you now.
Sorry, oh, 5
And I'm
p.m.
not editing this off.
Ah, I
Read
beg,
the
please.
border behind me. Which way
Oh
is
five,
this?
oh 5 p.m. Please.
Is this one? Look at us here. Can you see us?
I can see
That's
you. Oh
us.
5 p.m. Please.
Over 50s black men.
Men's Forum. Thank you so much. We look forward to
Thank
having you
you.
guys at the annual soiree. It's for men as well. So we
It's
look forward to having.
I'm going to ask you about men as well. I'm leaving. I'm very conscious that you have to leave. So let's just wrap this up and close it. I have briefly touched on your family, but you've referenced your husband's support with those who were putting you forward for the MBE.
Mhm.
Your family life is private, you don't have to share, but my question will be, how do you I called you today, you were going to pick a child up, you had an
Yes,
appointment, you had
yes.
energy is what you are. So we've talked about your family. I'm not going to go too much into that. I'm going to ask you to round this up. Yeah.
Mhm.
I have two questions for you. One of them is, if you could leave our listeners with one message about the importance of upskilling, what will that be?
What I would drop with you is upskilling is so important. I told you about my background. Just starting from
Mhm.
that, I was in a place where my mom just believed in education and she did her best. But if I stayed where in my community where I was, I wouldn't be here today. And every time I have always tried to keep myself on the cutting edge. So I have quite a lot of qualifications. I just feel developing yourself is so key, is the best investment you can do. And if you definitely want a return on income, you want to just enjoy life, I think you need money. And
Hmm.
money
I
comes from
like money
developing
too.
yourself. Yeah, you have to develop yourself. You can't remain the same. It's so important. So really
Okay.
invest in yourself as you know, and yeah, you'll enjoy the rewards. But when you get the
And
money, talk about money, but it's just because
mhm,
I have so many other mouths that I need to support. So I have a large heart
true.
as well.
So it is important. It's I because of the way. Do you know what? I still have to consider that you got redundancy package, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And you took the bulk of it and put into building up your community. That for me is still a big one because it is hard. I'm
Mm.
telling you, yes, I want to build my community, but I'm not taking my 70,000 to build my community. I'm being very honest with you. I will find funding, I will find this. So it's not that it makes you a saint, it just makes you one of a few who are willing to do that, who are not thinking of self or are thinking of others. It's very,
I think it came from
I
my
would say it's
mom.
very
Yeah. It's my mom.
is inspiring, is
Thank
inspiring.
you.
Which
Thank
I
you.
was going to ask you, who would you say has been your greatest? I don't want to use the word mentor. I would say inspiration.
It's my mom. Because even though we lived in a, deprived area and she was a nurse, the
Mm.
reason why we struggled with eating, we only had 1 meal a day is because she's feeding the entire community once a week and all doing all sorts of things. And at the time, it wasn't pleasurable to me. I mean, we're about to eat, and some young children from the community would just come in, and my mom would just say, "Grab your hands or your fork," and they all put their hands into our meal. I didn't really like it growing up. I thought sometimes when my mom's not looking and I see those children coming in, I'm staring at them, go away, go.
Wait, let my food be my food.
My food be my food. But I guess somehow it's rubbed off of me, and I'm kind
Because
of
you just
used to
said
it.
it.
Yeah,
I have a lot of mouths to feed.
yeah.
You actually did say that without. And then I'm going to ask you, so that's personally, in terms of your career, who would you say has inspired you most?
Gosh, I always ask myself that, and I'm yet to find someone, sincerely.
Seriously. Is that because many people have had an influence in your growth?
Not
Or
really.
is
No,
because
I
if you
wouldn't
looked,
say.
it's only God
Oh,
and yourself, right? That you can really
pretty
see
much. It was only that lady that I told you that when I reached out to her for 3 months,
the
and I've never
mentor.
been able to reach her ever since then. She supported me, and the first person that gave me my first job in the UK that just
Hmm.
said, "I see something in you. I see a sparkle in you. I'm going to give you this opportunity." And that's all she
So
said. Yeah. So those people that saw what I didn't see gave me those opportunities. I am, grateful to them, but I am still looking for that mentor. And I'll say, "Oh, this is
that
my
one that you would
that
say, this
one."
one carried me
Yeah,
too
yeah,
fast.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so for the last question, before we close out and before I do all my gratitude and thanks, because I have really enjoyed it. You know, I was nervous doing this.
Yeah.
Nervous because
I thought
I
we, I
would
thought, I thought we were a good bunch. We're a good duo together.
we're good,
We
but
connect.
you
We
see,
connect.
it's still not as smooth as that day because that one was gist. If you see how I was chilled out talking and just spoken to you for the first time, I was so thrilled. It was
Yeah.
such an easy flowing conversation. But I think the minute it was packaged as a podcast, the
Yeah.
nerves took over. I do not like public speaking, even though I it's me and you. I
Mm-hmm.
know that there's an expectation of a delivery of this thing we're doing, unlike when we just had a casual conversation. So, my last question will be for you to sell career nuggets. Where are they? We already know what you do, but in
Mm-hmm.
a nutshell, will still be good. How do our listeners uh, learn more about career nuggets itself? And how to enroll, get involved. I did not say anything about fees. I did not ask you how much they pay. I did not
Yeah.
ask you. I need them to go and find it and find what suits them. So I'm giving you this for the next 2 minutes.
Thank you so much. Career Nuggets, you can find us on all the social media platforms from LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Just check us out, follow us. That means a lot to us. There's a lot of free information we give. We signpost you to different things, as well as our website, www.careernuggets.tv. And you can send us an email, info@careernuggets.co.uk, and we will definitely respond. We'd love to hear from you. We look forward to hearing from you. Reach out. There's always somebody on the other end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Morenike Ajayi, MBE. I'll keep
Thank
putting it and emphasizing it because it is a worthy honor. So
thank you.
that's all from us. We thank Morenike Ajayi, MBE, for sharing the platform with us today. And this is the first ever episode
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Community Impactors by O5BM. Thank you very much. Have a
Thank,
really blessed weekend and evening and hope to speak to you again soon. Thank you.
thank you for having me. And once again, thank you, O5BM. Bye for
Thank
now.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Have a very good evening.
And you
Thank
too.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into the O5BM Community Impactors podcast, where Black brilliance meets community impact. We hope these conversations inspire you to dream big, take action, and contribute to the ongoing legacy of positive change. Until next time, let's continue to celebrate and build within our community.